What up, my freaks? RuinousInsight here with part 14 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Gorbad Ironclaw Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, the game will never let us have positive public order. Another confederation comes in with a bunch of additional territory, but, you know, to the annoyance of me and having to deal with all of those public order issues. But what are you gonna do? It's the name of the game. I got to subjugate all the other orc tribes and join them into Gorbad, which we are very much working on in terms of invading the Empire, as that is the sort of end goal of the campaign. In light of that, we have begun building a lot of our other troops and armies. Black orcs, orcs with spears. We got savage orcs coming in here. We got more savage orcs coming in here. I believe we got more boar boys and squigs and a little bit of everything being trained up and are ready to move in preparation. It does mean that we are in minus 23,000 gold per turn. We'll probably hit minus 30k relatively soon, but well, let's just hope that we can stay ahead of it just by attacking, sacking, etc. Whatever it is we do. Anyway, last episode I believe I said that we would start this episode off with the attack on Verezzo here, which has a sack value of 25k, which we certainly need. So let's get to that. So Azdrag, okay, wait. Mr. Morglum de Flea, I would like you to take the Nasty Skulkers, the named Nasty Skulkers, which are supposed to be in another army. It's a long past time. And this Goblin Big Boss is the one that gives them devastating flanker? Yes, alright. You are going to go and deliver all of these guys over to... It's the fastest way. I guess the fastest way to go is like this. Alright, go meet up with that other Savage Orc, half Gobbo army. And you know what? Maybe we'll send them to go through the vampire counts on the way to the to those guys, because you know they're still there and annoying. Anyway, Muncha Edbutt, you're going to go up here towards Turen. What's the likelihood that these guys intercept you? You know what? Go. I don't think they're gonna. They wouldn't bother. They wouldn't dare. Alrighty, Blorg Radder. You are missing one unit. And you are also missing your River Troll Hag. Oh, you have the River Troll Hag. Okay, well, we'll deal with it later. Anyway, Blorgrader, I would like you to be the main attacker at Verezzo. We've got those orc boys to tear through the enemy. And I guess, wait, do you have an artillery piece in your WAAAGH? You do have an artillery piece in your WAAAGH. Okay, so you can deal with that just fine. I guess we'll use Azdrag One Finger to sort of reinforce. I don't think it's needed, but better than nothing. Anyway, Glugzag, I would like you to go into raiding stance and then start moving towards Porta Major. And then I guess Spite Backbiter will continue following you. And wasn't there a delivery here? Yes, you were supposed to deliver this stuff to Glugzag, so well on the way. And you, I guess, can, I don't know, march stance and follow Glugzag then. Alright, there we go. Everybody is in position, or will be once these guys stop moving, and let's get ready to get fighting. So, Blorg. And that's you, sir. Valiant defeat. Well, that is actually a lot of... That's a lot of range units, damn. And a lot of great swords, but they've got like a full stack of nothing but crossbows and handguns. Huh. Actually, this should be a decently fun fight. I like it. Anyway, let's give the Razor Standard to one of the Orc Biggins, and should they survive, we will give them the... Oh, you don't need the War Banner, do you? Should they survive, we will give them some names. War Banner out. Orc Banner in. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Blorgrader, who has been with us since the very start of the campaign. He's had to go through various armies as the units have peeled off to other forces, but now at last has his Biggins and his Boar Boy chariots. So we're definitely going to make it a goal for this particular episode to try to use the chariots best as we can in the actual fight. And, well, it might be a bit of a toughie, because chariots aren't particularly useful in sieges, with the exception of Gorby's chariots, I guess, but they don't really function exactly like normal chariots do, at least not in every way. Anyway, so we are gonna speed this up a little bit. We've got a gate to knock down, and it's got 30,000 HP on it, and frankly, that's probably gonna take a little bit of a while, so I'm just gonna... Alrighty, here we go. The battle is nearly ready to be joined. Okay, maybe I sped it up a little or slowed it back down a little bit too quickly. Gate has 553 HP remaining, and it's time to go up those walls. There we go. Now, could we have destroyed the gate using our trolls and our heroes? Yeah, of course we could have, but then it would have taken just as long, most likely, so I don't think it would have helped all that much. Anyway, speaking of our trolls and heroes, they're going to lead the charge. They didn't get to act as a living battering ram through the wall of, stone, but they will through the wall of flesh here. That makes up the enemy army. Now, the critical thing about this particular battle is the fact that the enemy has over a stack of range units, just an obnoxious number of range units, which are certainly going to make this a rather tough fight. And thus, we are going to start the battle by summoning those squig herds on the field and trying to tie up as many of the enemy as we can while we try to get away from the enemies that are around the gate and properly breach the settlement and get some of those biggins in here and fighting. Trolls will lead. They can absorb the hits from pretty much anything that the enemy has here, whether it be halberdiers or whether it be the great swords, though their main problem is that trolls have atrocious leadership. You can see these guys, they are wavering despite the fact that they have suffered 0 damage, literally 0 damage, 12,000 out of 12,000 HP, no unit losses, and they're wavering. So yeah, you really gotta watch out for the trolls, as they'll just straight up rout. I think in my Grimgor campaign, as I recall, the only battle that we lost in that campaign that wasn't one of those little silly minor settlement battles where the enemy suddenly attacked you was a straight up field battle. It was one where it was the all-troll army and they just all, decided to rout off screen periodically, despite having all their units and more than half HP and etc, etc, etc. Well, that's just the nature of using trolls. And gotta overcome it. Anyway, how are we doing? Another unit of trolls is wavering. Gotta watch out for that one. And we are making our way up the walls with those ladders. Now, would you look at that? This troll unit has routed. See what I mean? It's broken. It's fresh. And it has wow, it has lost 100 and... wait, the healing. Okay, so it's lost about 100 HP. It's got 99.9% of its HP, and it's about to have full HP. It's killed units, it's suffered no damage, and it's routing. I'd be mad if it wasn't so funny. Yeah, that's just trolls for you. At least until you get them sufficient buffs to deal with the leadership issue, or you get allied units that support them and give them a leadership aura. That would really potentially be helpful. Anyway, there's a very heroic unit of great swords up here. They've cut down 71 biggins so far, as 3 full ladder climbing units of biggins are attempting to cut them down, and are having a very difficult time of it. So great job to these great swords. I do imagine they will eventually get overrun, but they are doing an absolutely fantastic job, especially considering the biggins are armor piercing. I'm gonna buff them up a little bit by popping up that big WAAAGH there. Maybe that'll help them out against the great swords a little bit. They're up to 100 kills now, and 80 of their units and 50% of their HP remaining. And great job as a sort of, I don't know, look at the great swords there. Another big old foot of Gork will come down just as the enemy moves on in with a unit of Knights of the Black Rose. Now we're just trying to clear out the halberds and the knights and the great swords here, because they are still being sent forth and blocking off that darn gate. The Mangler squigs have arrived with more biggins, and at least one of the trolls units has rallied at this point. The other one is, I think, still routing. I don't know, it ran away somewhere. I don't know where it is. But it'll come back because the enemy isn't actually hurting them, for all the fact that they are forcing them to rout. Gotta double check what the leadership looks like on the stone trolls and the river troll hags, or river trolls just generally speaking. Let's see if that's any better than the... I imagine at least the stone trolls would have a slightly higher leadership than the regular trolls would. But we shall see. Anyway, the Knights of the Black Rose still holding us back decently well. A Blorg is working his way through them as best he can on his Wyvern. You gotta admit, the Orc war bosses on their Wyverns do look pretty fantastic with all that super thick armor. And the Wyvern in general is a nice model. Alright, there we go. Bites in half like a half dozen handgunners before moving back and charging those Knights of the Black Rose. Again, mortar shell and drops, but still manages to drop one of those Knights. Lovely. Out here are the Greatswords are still fighting 145 Biggin kills now, and that's more than a full unit, while fighting 3 at the same time. And there we go, at last the units of Greatswords on top of the walls will rout, having nearly killed off one of the units of Biggins. Admittedly, we have the vigor loss from being up there, so those guys were heavily damaged by the fact that they, had no vigor, but nonetheless, certainly something to consider. Anyway, now we're just trying to make our way deep into the enemy settlement. There's still so darn many units of range out there, and it's a, admittedly, pretty solid strategy to have just nothing but range units in a siege like this, because the enemy only has a couple units of melee, but they're tying us up long enough for all those range units to continue to fire. On the bright side, though, now that we've cleared the breach around the gate, even though all the orcs are in each other's way, I probably should have sent the chariots in one by one rather than doing it like this. But you gotta admit, this is exactly what I would expect from orcs trying to get into a settlement like this. You just know all the boar boys or the boar chariots would be yelling at each other, trying to get into the fight first and getting in each other's way, and probably fighting each other at the same time. Absolutely guarantee it. But anyway, they'll get into the settlement eventually, especially once these frickin' Knights of the Black Rose are cleared out. These guys are actually routing, but for whatever reason, they're routing towards our big pile of units. Because, when I'm fleeing for my life, I always go for the path of most resistance through all the enemies that are looking to cut me down. It's just how it works, guys. Alrighty, anyway. We just gotta wait a little bit until those guys clear them out. In the meantime, we've got more halberdiers and such to cut down. A few of our other units have managed to peel away at last from the enemy melee troops and are now trying to chase down whatever enemy range units they can reach. The enemy still outnumbers us in pure unit numbers, so we just gotta work on it. On the bright side, there's, 5, 6, if we count that one, range units back here, and that's for the Boar Boy Chariots to deal with. They're going to work their way past those Biggins and start working on those range units. There we go. Alright, they're doing it a little bit slowly because they're going uphill, and they are also, not really able to build up any momentum, but they do seem to have the mass to continue running over and barreling through at least some of those units. And then moving into the next unit. There we go, even without sufficient acceleration. Too bad there isn't a regiment of renown of Boar Boy Chariots. Alrighty, otherwise we are looking pretty okay. All of these range units are now tied up by the chariots and taking damage, unable to fire back. And the chariots will continue annoying them as they continue making their way uphill towards more enemies. And of course the Biggins are bringing up the rear. Any enemy unit that doesn't shatter, that survives, as it were, the charge of the chariots, though by the looks of most of them are routing here. But any unit that manages to survive this will be caught by the Biggins and cut down instead. Oh, lovely. And obviously these guys are going to be a little bit better functioning on field than they are in a settlement. It's a chariot in a settlement, what do you expect? But they're doing a pretty good job here. Not bad at all. Anyway, it looks like, yep, all of these units have now shattered before the Biggins have caught up, and this unit has shattered as well. We'll probably try to head towards the other ones. How are we doing here? The enemy's main capture point and the citadel, as it were, blocked by a platform, but at least a few of our trolls and Biggins have made their way through. Looks like the Pistoliers are attempting to escape, but now we've got Squigs streaming into the enemy settlement as well, so it's not going to go much better. A few of the Boar Boy Chariots are going to try to set up on this minor supply location, capture it, and then get ready to come down the hill this time and smash into those other units of range, which are rapidly in the process of being surrounded. The trolls are very much still in the fight, still effectively unharmed because of that lovely troll regeneration. And just that leadership you gotta watch out for. Anyway, here come the Boar Boy Chariots once more, and there we go. At least moving down the hill, they get a little bit of a better charge going. Smash through 2 units and getting each other's way a little bit, but that's fine. as they'll simply peel away from each other and keep on charging downhill and hitting whatever other units they can find. Some units fighting some biggins here. Nice charge from the boar chariots. And with that, all the enemy range units are tied up. Nobody will be able to get off a shot anymore. And I do believe the enemy army is completely screwed. And just a little bit more work. A few more charges through the enemies with our chariots, and the enemy army will shatter. Looks like that platform will go down, and I do believe with that the enemy army will shatter, and the battle will be ours. Lovely. Took a little bit of effort, but at the end of the day, the boar chariots actually clinched the win for us, which is exactly what I wanted out of this fight. Alright, a very nice fight, and we got our chariots to debut. In fact, despite the fact that the chariots took significantly longer, obviously, to get into battle, the biggins had to work their way through the enemies, but they not only racked up a solid amount of damage, but also kills as well, beating all but one, by the looks of it, of the orc biggins in terms of their performance, even so late into the battle. Lovely. I will watch their career with great interest. The mangler squigs nearly died, but they always nearly die, and the AI loves to focus those mangler squigs down, so hardly surprising. Anyway, we're going to sack the place for obvious reasons. 25k, we need it. Every turn is a huge cash loss for us. You can't go, but you can. Go and occupy Verezzo, which we will take at tier 3. Huh. Odd. Was it not a tier 4 or 5? Well, whatever. I don't really care. What is this? Oh, this is the Black Orc building, which we don't need here, I believe. Alrighty. You can immediately build the boss's tent, and I guess another raiden stashes, because we're gonna need them everywhere, like so. And then we'll figure out what else we need to build. Don't bother collecting income here. Great Cave Squig for Asdrag One Finger. WA target occupied. Lovely. And what do we have at Terran? I don't know if they'll be able to defend against Muncha Edbutt. Oh, right. I was wondering why I never leveled up these two. It's because they're supposed to evolve into more big squigs. Oh, speaking of big squigs, let us do... We got 4 here, right? All right, let's do a few names. All right, a big squig. You can be Pork Chop. You can be Big Chungus. And conversely, you can be Tiny. And lastly, you can be I don't think this is gonna fit. Go Squig or go Home. It will fit. Just by... Oh, wow, we actually had... that's surprising. I wonder if some units have bigger... name possibility than other units do. But anyway, glad that it fits. The Biggins. Alright, you guys suffered the most, so I think you deserve the names the most, since you were sent up to those walls, and man, they struggled against those greatswords. One unit of greatswords not only held 3 off, but were looking like they were going to rout them. But anyway, that's just another example of how devastating the debuffs can be from tiredness, from the vigor loss, from climbing. Anyway, Blorg's boys. For you, Biggins, we got Great Green Wave. Let's do all 4 of these since they suffered, or maybe 3, I don't know. Well, I guess this is the bestest. The bestest boys. There we go. Big Green. Alright, let's do those 4. Alrighty, and we gotta name at least one of the chariots after they did all that work. You can be meat wagons. Oh, lovely. And I believe... Okay, so this is Blorg. These 2 Black Orcs have been taking hits for this army for the entire time, so I think they've deserved... they've earned some names as well, so you can be Killa Cans. And... where is my list of Black Orcs? The Unstoppables. The Unstoppables, there we go. You know what? I spelt that way too correctly. There we go. A little bit better. And closer to the name suggestion. Anyway, that's good enough for now, at least until we do some more stuff. Let's get to doing. Let's see what we got here. Agro Throat Crunch, Gromgob Scream. You are moving to wipe out Clan Gnaw for good, so keep on moving. Get to raiding as well, and oh, I guess maybe this guy doesn't need to move this way. Well, maybe. No, because then we need to remove a... Yeah, whatever. Well, I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it / figure it out. Grotzlik, who are you again? Oh, right. I check this guy every time. Eventually we'll delete him, but that eventually is not now. You... I mean, you could reach direct red main, but I'm willing to bet that he'll run. Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll go into ambush stance, and we'll push on towards Kazad Urk... Oh. I might have to kill you. Which clan is this? Clan Mordkin. Yeah, but we're gonna kill them anyway because they're best friends with Clan Gnaw and they do not like us. They're going to attack us anyway, so it might be a good opportunity to wipe a few of their armies out. Alrighty, well either way, let's see what else we got in terms of this turn. Bartorg Backbiter, you are advancing towards the Karazakarek dwarfs now, and I think that hasn't changed. I'm just going to hope that there isn't a full stack belonging to Thorgrim here. Oh, actually, you know what? These guys might attack you, and if there's another stack, it would be too iffy. Just go into regular stance. Oh, you know what? Go into raiding stance. What am I talking about? Like so. There we go. Fix our money situation a little bit, but Skarsnik, you can move in march stance to just follow along. Teen C-Bit Tech Thief, you can go... I mean, you're kind of close to this guy, so we'll do that. Alrighty. And then you're good. I'll level you later. Skarsnik steals levels, so since the last time we leveled him, he's not fought a single battle, but he's leveled up 5 times. That Steely's thing that he's got going on is pretty darn fantastic. I mean, he'll have a higher level than Gorbad in, I don't know, a couple more turns, I guess. What were you here for? Oh, right. You're going to just sit here and essentially defend if the undead come a-calling. Alright, fair enough. All good. Let's build some gobos. They're cheap and we'll just use them for blobbing purposes. Probably a couple more snotling pump wagons, but we need to be able to defend the place. I don't really want to advance further. There isn't really enough interest in the campaign to bother with the Darklands, so we will just try to defend that place. Maggot, you are going to transfer the Orc Boar Boy Biggins to somebody, and the Lava Spider... There you go, this way. The Lava Spider Riders to the Fire Army, wherever that's going to be. Arachnic Spider Claw, you have to keep moving this way. You're going to trade units with Grom Gobscream, and then you are going to go back and then grab your Arachnarok Spiders. Zuck, I don't remember who you are. Oh, right. The Confederate guy. Go to Dead Rock Gap. Free territory. Like so, and yeah, second. Moved him. No, okay, he's still in range. I hate when it lags like that just for a second, just to prevent you from moving away, but it's all good, looks like. Dead Rock Gap, it also dropped in tier. Alright, if somebody can explain to me why in some situations we sack and then the settlement doesn't get damaged, and then another times it, I mean, it always gets damaged, but sometimes it drops a tier and sometimes it doesn't, which I find curious. Either way, Camp Ruckus is the way to go. And oh, you have a gold mine here, meaning we'll actually have to build the pile of shiny stuff here. Alright, fair enough. Let's see who else needs to move after Mr. Zuck, who I don't know that we're keeping, but no, nobody. Alrighty, I take it we're not besieging anywhere, meaning we can skip. Outpost available, no. And skip again and go. Wonder if Theodoric Gosser will attempt to move towards us. I'm almost tempted to put one of these guys into ambush. Never mind. Your ally has been attacked. Clan Moors will get attacked by Clan Vulcan, who apparently don't like us. Well, that's a little bit annoying, but I'd rather fight Vulcan than Moors. I wish I remembered where Vulcan was, though. But judging by the fact that they're attacking Moors, they're probably in close proximity to them, which might have some issue. Oh well, enter war on side of ally, I guess, and we'll see where they are. What do we have here? Freebooter, these guys are moving around. The auto-resolve won't let us kill these guys off. I might just fight this one between the episodes, because, I mean, we've seen the range units tear enemies apart, and this army, while the auto-resolve won't let us, stands absolutely no chance. But anyway, I'll think about it. Supervisor, Master Mason, Authoritarian, Dung Shoveler for Raider Turg, Dung Shoveler for Masha, and just hold on to it. Ambush Foiled for Argor. Where is Argor? Ambushing. Oh, right. Oh, you are out of range of these guys. Man, that's unfortunate. There's two of them. Huh, I wonder, we could, you could disband the WAAAGH and probably reach them. I guess the WAAAGH will be gone in 4 turns anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It won't let us auto-resolve, but it might be the thing to do. Anyway, settlement sacked Aldente, and then settlement lost Aldente. Not that we particularly care about that settlement. Ambush foiled, confederation between Carcassonne and Paravant. Uglock the Orrible is up and running. Ooh, beautiful. Tactic removed from Grom Gobscream. Alright, so 2 things to do. First of all, we are now going to move through less eaten, more building. Huh, I'm going to do one of these in 1 turn. Spider buff, artillery buff, giant buff, chariot buff, glorious charge for all greenskin chariots. We did just get chariots. And these are all decent 1-turn buffs. And the real best thing would be to head to the biggest WAAAGH, but it's still going to take 20 turns regardless. So I think maybe we should take advantage of the fact that we have the research point surplus right now to get something decent. 10% reload time reduction. I mean, our artillery is kind of meh anyway, and we admittedly don't use a lot of it. We have soon 2 spider armies. Honestly, we don't have enough of any of these units to really get too much advantage out of any of them. I'm actually thinking we just ignore it for now. Keep going through this. And then once we have greater numbers of any particular type of unit, then we can do it. Anyway, I would like Clan Gnaw to die now, so you are going to go kill it, Carrick Crumb. Like so. And, wait, I'm going to say, can you... you can reinforce and at least leech the XP before transferring units. I think I like that. Let's do it. Skaven revealed. And yeah, you have the Arachnarok Spider as well, so we'll definitely put you to good use, and we'll pop you in here. And then this is the last settlement of Clan Gnaw. And oh, I wonder if you'll be able to... you should still be able to sack it and go. Let's see, this is currently tier 3. Resolve. Sack. And okay. And this should be the destruction of the faction. Occupy. And it is down to tier 2. Huh. But why? Anyway, this has money-making territory, so I guess we will go for the pile of shiny stuff. Well, no, we start with the raiding stashes now. At this point, I think the raiding stashes are more important than the, and then the piles of shiny stuff are. Thunder Peaks is now ours, so we'll go for Camp Ruckus, and Clan Gnaw is destroyed, and I would wager that, well, okay, no, this is Rictus, they're friendly, so we're ignoring them, but I wager that we should be able to destroy Clan Mordkin relatively quickly, and, well, Karazakarak probably somewhat equally as quickly. Anyway, we are rapidly running out of time, so Steel Tech, and... Steel Tech. Failure. Success! Hey, well done. The new guy. And I didn't even get you Specialist. At least that's helpful, and hopefully we can get a few more of these tech-these up and running. You need to stop failing. Anyway, with that clan destroyed, with the... I assume that you guys will be destroyed as well. Man, 30,000 for sacking it. It's a tier 5. I would really like to keep it a tier 5, but I don't think we can say no to 30,000 gold. It's... Oh! They have a decent garrison here. Huh, alright, fine. I guess we're gonna have to spend the turn here. Oh, I did that the wrong way. It's not like we actually need the ram or any siege towers here, though I guess siege towers do come in somewhat useful for our hybrid tactical boys. Alright, well, let's let them sally out. I'm willing to bet that they will. Now, Clan... Okay, I know where Clan Vulcan is. It's, Well, you know, you spent the turn traveling that way, and I fear that we need you to move down here instead. We're gonna have to redirect you. At least until we... actually, I want to double-check something. They're willing to immediately peace out. There wasn't a need to redirect. Peace out with them. Let them deal with, I wish I had not moved yet, but oh well. Let them deal with the other elements of the enemy army. Argor Throat Cruncher.
No! I'm surrounded by fools!
Alright, I'm gonna risk letting go of the law. It's nice to have it. I readily admit that. But I also do. Oh wow, I almost deleted the main army. But it's going to be gone in a few turns anyway. And let's see if this gives you enough range. It gives you just enough range to, reach Felicia the Porous, but not this guy. So that's good. All right, since we're running out of time, I really want to make sure that we fight this. And hey, Aranessa herself will come a call in shortly as well. Pyrrhic victory. We got lots of enemies. The giant pile of mortars should be pretty concerning to our orc boys, which, for all their buffs in Argor's army, are still pretty fragile. And the first army should fall fairly quickly and easily, though, and I see no bloated corpses to be wary of, so we should be okay. Fight. Why indeed, my friend. Alrighty, here we go. Let's see how the flying Vs are able to handle themselves against piles of enemy Vampire Coast range units. We're going to set up the flying Vs, and unfortunately, it looks like the enemy is going to do a little bit of, well, not quite corner camping, but certainly camping the edge of the battle map, and waiting for its reinforcements right at the edge, which means all of its artillery are going to be deployed all the way at the edge of the map right here. But what can you do if the enemy wasn't looking to charge towards us, since they're on the defensive? I guess we're just going to have to deal with it. Heading towards them with all of our Berserk boys. Unfortunately, we do have to remember that this fight we don't have our buffs, we don't have our plans, so we're only at 46 weapon strength on the Orc boys rather than the 80 weapon strength that they got used to because of the plan, and they also don't have the 15 ward save that they would normally be getting out of the blockers plan. So they're significantly weaker in both terms of their damage and the way that they can absorb damage. But they're just going to have to deal with it. They got shields and padded shields at that, so they should be able to block out plenty of shots. They still have the Black Orcs, the 2 units of Black Orcs leading the charge, and now a couple of Trolls in the army as well. And of course, this is the Vampire Coast, so with the exception of the Depth Guard, their infantry is going to be pretty trash. And we should still be able to overrun them. Animated Hulks, rotting ogres moving in to try to hold off our trolls. And we've got a big ol' gaze of Mork firing away and knocking out 2 of the enemy mortars in the enemy back line, though the enemy has plenty more where that came from. As we can see, 5 more artillery pieces behind these 3. We're taking a lot of mortar fire, though admittedly, because we have tied up the enemy a lot of that mortar fire will, if hitting us, be hitting the enemy as well. And I'm willing to bet that since we've armored up the regular orc boys up to 82, which is pretty darn solid, they effectively have like Biggin armor now, they are at the same time going to be more resistant to the relatively lackluster artillery of the Vampire Coast. What is very much not lackluster from the Vampire Coast is all of those gunnery units. You can see that they're all trying to, look at that, all of them are trying to focus down Argor, who is going to unfortunately rout just as we pop the healing potion though. So he would, between the healing potion and between recovery, should probably move up to like, I don't know, half of his HP, 3/4 of his HP. We'll see. I'm sure he'll be back, is what I'm getting at. Otherwise, it's a simple, good old-fashioned brawl, as it tends to be for this particular army. Just trying to work our way through at least all the melee troops, and then we can go for the ranged troops that have been annoying us so much through the course of this fight. River Troll Hag has moved in to help deal with the Animated Hulks. Animated Hulks not to be underestimated, despite their, I don't know, their stats belie their effectiveness. They're a lot better than they seem on paper. I do really like the unit when playing Vampire Coast, and especially considering how cheap they are. Plus, since they're undead, unlike the Trolls, they won't rout at the drop of a hat. Alrighty, well, it looks like finally we've managed to make our way through at least a decent amount of the enemy melee units, and our faster moving units, like the Trolls, will start smashing apart the enemy artillery crews and preventing them from firing off any more shots. Another wall will activate as we kick up even more momentum. Another unit of Animated Hulks on the left flank is still holding at least a few units back, and our single unit of Orc Boys Spears will move in to help out. And no, I don't know why this unit is still in this army, it's just kind of funny. And they will eventually be replaced by, yeah, I'm not sure yet, something. We'll get there eventually. What, well, where we'll also get eventually is a victory. Actually, really close to it now. Advanced power shifts to about 90%, and since we've broken through the main line, pretty much all the enemy artillery are now tied up, though unfortunately for the enemy, they're pretty much the last thing on the field anyway. And I do believe Blorg, wherever he is, has returned to the fight as well. There he is, up to half HP. And now it's just a matter of waiting for the last of the enemy to melt away. I guess all of those guns were not enough to deal with our orc boys, even weakened as they are by their lack of plans. Though, I gotta remember to get them both their plans up and running before they fight Aranessa or a more elite set of stacks. You also gotta remember that just like we had a little bit of trouble due to our vigor loss on the biggins when we attacked that siege, that siege battle that we just did, the enemy's first army was also in march stance, and thus their vigor loss would have significantly debuffed them in every single way, so that worked out for us. A lovely job, another heroic victory for the orc boys, but I guess they're used to it since the AI thinks they're a lot weaker than they are with the buffs we've given them. Alright, there we go. A very nice fight, though the AI once again exhibited that weird behavior, where it will decide that it wants to snipe one single unit at the cost of everything else, and yes, sure, you heavily, severely damaged Argwar Throatcruncher, but at the cost of having all the units that were trying to damage him not firing upon the rest of our army, and once they close the distance, even the basic orc boys will tear through the Vampire Coast infantry. Anyway, while I'd love to heal, it'll heal Argor as well, we gotta go slaughter captives because, you know, the Confederation debuff. Lovely fighting. Alrighty, and I assume that we're in range of our Gallus. We will auto-resolve this as well. This hopefully will not... Okay, it'll take another 25% of the HP off Argor, but we did get a Lichbone penance, so I can't stay too mad about that. Occupy. Lovely. Alright, now you stay there, and, well, Aranessa will probably attack you next turn. I wonder if she'll... Oh. Might be that she besieges us. You know what? Go outside the settlement and then raid our own territory. It's a minus 39. Wow. Okay, but what can you do? Gotta deal with it. It's better than getting besieged and then suffering damage. Alright, anyway. Ooh. You got a Lichbone Pennant. Yeah, probably a good idea for this particular army to have at least some form of magical damage on some of its infantry. Anyway, folks, with that, we are out of time, and I'm going to call the episode here. The next time, we will, well, it's a new turn, so we've got a lot of advancing to do, a lot of other armies to fight, so we'll get to fighting. Well, I guess not at this time respond to Clan Vulcan. Hopefully they leave, but we will maybe put an army down here for the eventuality that we start fighting them again. I guess Clan Moors won't be too happy about us immediately piecing out with them, but hopefully they can fight each other, and we can maybe raid their territory or something without too much investment. Hey, tactic unlocked, Heavy Metal Marching. We'll see what that is. Oh, I think that's the Black Orcs, that's the Black Orcs buff. Which is great, because Oglock the Horrible is now, or will be in about 5 seconds, on the field. Let's summon him at Zenris. Workshop boys, Oglock the Horrible, level 11 to start. There we go. And he will power up all the boar units, orc infantry units. Yeah, basically all boars and all orc infantry. Oh, and that includes the savage orc boar boys. That's good. That's very good. Massive amount of bonus charge for them as well. So yeah, he's going to use Black Orc. I mean, he's a workshop boss, so he's like a pseudo-legendary lord, and yeah, we'll give him some Black Orcs since it just straight up buffs all orc infantry. This is +5 for orc infantry, and then this is +5 for orc boys, orc boar boys, savage orc boar boys. I mean, does this mean a +10 for any orc boys? Because these are... Well, either way, he'll have both of those units, and I'm sure he will enjoy himself when we get him on field. He'll also lead the Broken Tusks mob. I was saving the Crimson Killers for Grimgor, but we'll see. And then these guys will go to our various wolf armies. Yes. Alrighty, anyway, more orcs to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.